same rights as everybody else, specifically and especially the right to marry. The court has taken on two cases here from opposite ends of the country, and their rulings will stand as the law of the land. Our justice correspondent Pete Williams was there when word came down. He starts us off tonight. Pete, good evening.
And Brian, it will be historic because this is the first time the Supreme Court has ever agreed to take a serious look at the issue of same-sex marriages. And it will consider two questions. Can the federal government refuse to recognize them in the states where they're already legal? And what's to become of them in California? Just a day after Washington state became the latest allowing gay couples to get married, the Supreme Court said it will delve into one of the nation's most hotly debated issues.
This is a monumental action by the Supreme Court because we know they're going to say something about gay marriage for the first time ever.
The court agreed to take up the legal battle over California's Proposition 8, passed by voters 4 years ago, ending same-sex marriage in the state. A federal appeals court ruled the ban unconstitutional on grounds that applied only in California. But now that the Supreme Court is wading in, the justices could get to the more basic issue. Can any state ban same-sex marriage? 9 now permit it or soon will, so does Washington, D.C. The court also agreed to hear a challenge to the federal Defense of Marriage Act. It defines marriage as, quote, only a legal union between one man and one woman. The law had a big effect on Edie Windsor of New York, who married Thea Spire in Canada in 2007. When Spire died 2 years later, leaving Windsor the estate, the IRS sent a tax bill for $363,000 because it did not consider them to be married.
So it was the injustice, I think, ultimately, that just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they were making a stranger of this person I lived with and loved for 43 and something years.
Under that law, same-sex couples who are legally married are denied about 1,000 federal benefits that other married couples get. After first supporting the Defense of Marriage Act, the Obama administration concluded last year that it violates the Constitution.
We cannot defend the federal government poking its nose into what states are doing and putting the thumb on the scale against same-sex couples.
House Republicans are now taking up the law's legal defense. Supporters say it helps preserve traditional marriage.
Unions of two men or two women are not the same thing as a marriage between a man and a woman. And only marriage between a man and a woman can connect children to their mother and father and their parents to the children.
The fact that the court has agreed to take up both cases could mean that the justices are prepared to get to the heart of the same-sex marriage issue, and that could result in what would essentially be the Roe v. Wade of gay rights. Brian?
Pete Williams starting us off at the court tonight with this important development.